Smart. What's up, everybody? It's Chad. We're back again with another episode of Ask Chad Grassy Logic. It's kind of a long intro, huh? It's kind of a long intro, damn.
When you can't hear it, I guess.
I know, right? I mean, you got no music to distract you. I guess it is kind of a long intro. Anyway, thanks for joining me again for another episode of Ask Chad Grassy Logic. I'm here this week with Queen Diggs. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm glad to bring you in every season, get the update what's going on with your life and everything.
Yeah.
You're really fun to talk to. You're an interesting person, and you do a lot in the industry, and you're really boots on the ground. So it's really cool to hear what you have to say and all that. So
it's my pleasure to be on your podcast. I think you're cool as fuck, and you're my person that I go to if I'm like, all right, let me find out if this is true or not. Or, Chad, this is happening. What's going on? So you're my number one go-to on that.
Well, I appreciate that. You got to put those skills to work that the government gave me, I guess. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us again. This week we're going to be talking about her, of course, and her venture. For those of you who don't know who she is, we're going to give a quick rundown. We're not going to go through the whole thing. If you guys want to hear the whole thing, go back to I think like season 1 or 2 when we had her on for the first time. She gave us the whole spiel. But we're going to go for it real quick, and then I'm going to give you guys the final of the hearing rescheduling update kind of thing that's going on. There was a couple of things that happened after the episode last week that I wanted to update you guys on, so I won't take too long. And we're going to be talking about proper storage. That's why it's titled Keepaway. We're going to talk about kids and getting cannabis and stuff. So we got a good episode ahead of y'all. But before we get into the rest of those topics, Miss Queen Diggs, could you, for the people who don't know who you are, introduce yourself?
Well, most people would know that I work for Wild.
Yes.
And I'm an account manager. I manage all the dispensaries south of I-40 in Albuquerque, all the way down to Sunland Park, Roswell, Hobbs, all of that. I was in the industry before that. I worked for Pure Life and was their brand ambassador for their in-house edible brand. And then I read about Wild, had no idea who they were, anything like that, but I appreciated the type of people that they portrayed themselves to be. And I really like it. I enjoy working for them because I feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. Yeah. It's such a thoughtful company, still same owners. I mean, it's crazy as hell. Wild is wild. Hundreds of accounts and 2 account managers. Like, it's wild, but I enjoy it, you know, and educating people. But yeah, and I just travel all over. I just got back from an 8-day trip all across New Mexico.
Excursion throughout New Mexico.
Yeah. There's some cool restaurants in Clovis. There's a restaurant there called The Rails, and it is a steakhouse.
Ooh, okay.
Bomb as fuck.
Really?
And anyone that goes to Hobbs knows they ain't shit there to eat. But I found a steakhouse inside the casino. And you pass the bar. It's called like Centennial. It was amazing.
All right.
Amazing.
Little. I wouldn't say it's a hole in the wall. It's a little secret gem.
Oh, secret gem, because I didn't know it was there. I've been going there for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, congratulations for your promotion then. You're no longer doing the nitty-gritty.
Okay. Yeah. Our drivers go all over the state.
Yeah.
In a whole month, they've been all over New Mexico. Yeah. And we have 4 drivers, and we just kind of switch their routes, and they have overnights. But within a month, they've been northwest, east, south, like everywhere. And they do anywhere from like 8 to 16 stops a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
I know. I know. It really is. And 4 drivers.
Oh, really?
4 drivers.
Oh, between 4, that's actually quite a lot of work between the 4.
It really actually is.
Yeah, that is insane. But, people like you help keep everything and organize and stuff like that too as well. So I'm sure that helps.
We have a good New Mexico team. And most of us have been here since the very beginning. Yeah. They don't have a high turnover.
So for the people who don't know, where is Wild from, like originally?
So Wild is created out of Bend, Oregon. And it was some college homies, friends, and they wanted to create a gummy. And so they actually made their first batch of gummies inside of a barn, and the first SKU was raspberry. And that was in 2016. Okay. Never did the owner, Aaron Morris, think that this Wild gummy was going to be such a big thing. So they took the time to hire food scientists. We actually have 4 food scientists at the headquarters in Oregon, and they're the ones that created this consistent gummy. That's why it can be so consistent. But what we are recently which we kind of knew, he wanted to always take Wild in like different directions. But what we found out recently is that his whole goal was starting technically Northwest Confections was to be a distribution company. That's what he wanted to do.
Okay.
He just started this gummy, I don't know, maybe to fund this distribution company. And he's like, never did I ever think that this brand was going to be this gummy that's all sought after.
Yeah.
So he has recently said, Wild's taken care of. Good Tide is, the rosin brand that they have. And so in other states, they're becoming, yes, Wild rep, right? So like, say if I was in California, yes, I sell Wild, I sell Good Tide, but then I also sell a brand called Birdies, which looks like cigarettes, like pre-rolls. And then I'm selling a drink, and I'm selling a chocolate, and I'm selling, so other brands we're kind of distributing with them.
Got it.
But it's not just any brand. They have to be the Wild way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get surprised about how really fine oiled machine that company is, especially within that kitchen. I've never seen such a kitchen so talking. Like if they put in, say, whatever grams of sugar, they have to actually shout that out. Someone has to come look at it. So they have two people initial it to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, and they'll even shout out the temperature. Like once this pot gets to this temperature, they're about to shout it out. Then this team knows, okay, they have only this amount of time.
Yeah.
And then this mixer knows. And it's just such a intricate way. And they definitely have very high standards. But also what I'll say is they give us the tools and everything we need to fit that standard.
That's good.
But they're still in Bend, Oregon, and now that I think they're like in 17 states, 9 provinces.
Nice.
And they actually acquired a company called Groon recently, Gron, and it's a woman brand. She was an architect, was over it. She decided to create this gummy inside of her basement. And then it became the 3rd edible brand inside the nation. And they actually sell better in some states than Wild does. But the same ethics, same values as far as ingredients, So in some states, like everything's real fruit juice. Yeah. Everything. And I've seen them where they've thrown away batches because it's not, the number is supposed to be like, oh shit, this batch is only like 9.5. Like we can't. Yeah. We can't. And they'll scratch a whole batch. And no one's even screaming, which is another thing I appreciate. You go to another kitchen and I don't know, they're like, oh my God, how much that is. So many times have I seen some things where I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's like Gordon Ramsay kind of shit.
Up. Yeah. And they're like, did you learn your lesson? Like even in my position, my director is just so awesome. They're really leadership. And it's not perfect. There's shit for sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see Aaron Morris still as the original owner. People think that Wild's corporate, and they're not. If they do in the future, I could see why. But that's why we're also able to be so generous. It's a very generous company as well. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see them winning like that. And if you saw these owners and founders of Wild on the street, you would never, ever think that that's who you're looking at. Because they're just dressed so... Yeah. Yeah.
And I know we have the stigma above people that come from out of state and stuff like that, but sometimes that's not always the case in this case, I've seen Wild in many other states, of course, and when I go there, I don't really see them as a nefarious business. I went to Washington, of course, they're right next door. Yeah. And they were there, and I was like, that's funny to see, funny to see them in other states, and they talking to the bud tender. Oh, you like Wild? I'm like, oh, they have it in my state too. Yeah. And it's just funny to see same brands when you go to different states, especially so far. So far. Yeah. From the Southwest to the Pacific Northwest. I was able to find the same brand. Same brand. And I'm sure it would have tasted the exact same.
And that's what we like to say. It's like, you buy a Dr. Pepper here, you buy a Dr. Pepper in California, they're going to taste the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with Wild. Yeah. Same with Wild. Now, I will say the effects could be different, just out of my personal experience, because our elevation is a lot different here.
Yeah. There's a lot of different factors that play into that for sure.
But that's what it's meant for. That's why when people come into town or from Texas, they're like, I've seen people walk out like, oh, you don't have Wild? Like, no. Nope. And that brand is just so recognizable. Those antlers, the packaging, you're absolutely right about that. And they're everywhere. And he's like, never did I ever think it was going to be like this. But I also like that he's just not all about that money like that. There is some states that we will never be in because they don't align. Our values are different.
Oh, got it.
You know?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
The
glad
way
that
we
we made it
treat
here.
people are different. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, we made the cut.
Really though. Really though. And we're doing way better in New Mexico than they even thought.
Really?
And even the owners there was like, what the hell is going on in New Mexico? Like our year-over-year is sick. Like last month I went over 44% of my goal.
Oh, wow.
Like every like, and they're like, I don't know what the hell is going on in Mexico, but you guys just keep doing what you're doing, but it's
Yeah.
just like, it's something unique and different. And there is literally a line that works for everybody. There's a gummy that is for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been to the pop-up stuff where you guys have the gummies out and stuff, and the consistency is there. Like every time I've tried it, it's been the same taste, same flavor, and the effect's gonna be whatever for whatever reason. There's only so much you can control in that sense, but the flavor you at least can control.
Flavor.
Yeah.
They use a pharmaceutical grade mixer to mix the gummies, and each batch is different. Let's just say, for example, elderberry is spun for 47 minutes, but they are constantly checking the gauges and the numbers to make sure nothing is out of balance. And then they put this pot into a machine, and it's all hand done here in Albuquerque. It's literally, someone's like this.
Yeah.
Then they have a little knob on the side, and that knob has to be a certain for each gummy because the consistency is different. And every 5 racks, they check it to see if it's still on point.
Yeah.
And then they do it. And sometimes it does move because the power of the person or whatever. So they're constantly checking it. And it's like you put the gummies on 5 racks, switch it. But once it dries for a certain amount of time, because they're all different and they set these timers, they have these food scientists behind this red tape, and they take 3 gummies off of each row, and then they test it to see. And if it's too much, they shave it. If it's underneath, they're putting it together. It's the craziest
Interesting
shit. But every row is touched.
Yeah.
Is touched.
Wow.
To make sure. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, when I tell people, you need to be able to touch every plant that you grow every day. You need to be able to touch your product, in that sense, to make sure that the quality control is really there.
Yeah.
And that's insane to hear, because that's something that you only really see on a industrial level of manufacturing.
Yeah.
Is you really see quality control like that.
I've never seen quality control like that. And I've worked in restaurants, and my ex-husband ran a restaurant for 20 years.
Yeah.
Even the sugar, so each gummy has 4 grams of sugar, right? So let's just say the molds are ready and we're putting them out on this machine and we are hand doing it, boom, and then the gummies drop, and there can only be 1 cup of sugar and only a certain sugar in this thing.
Yeah.
Then we do all the things and 1 more cup of sugar. We are not to touch the gummies all like that. We put them in this thing that the only thing I can think of is it looks like a cement mixer.
Oh yeah, those. Yeah, I've seen those for sure. Yeah.
Certain amount
How
of
it's
minutes.
made.
Yeah. Certain amount of minutes. Everything is timed precisely, and you're not walking away from that. If you need to get off of that, whatever station someone is right there.
Yeah.
And then they're carefully done and carefully touched and carefully put in there. But it's been a fascinating process to see how much they care. And even when you get out the mold, sometimes you call them the tails. It's like the gummy, and there's a little tail. How you get the gummies, you can't just, no.
Yeah.
1, 2, they have to count 10, right? You're not holding all this, you're just counting them. Then you're looking at them, taking all the tails off, putting them back, and then putting them in there. Even the way they have to count them, what hand they have to use to put in there, how they have to close them, where the taper level has to be.
So it's a craft level product with manufacturing practices.
It's
interesting.
Insane.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, that is interesting.
How they do it. Even the way they pack the boxes. We have a whole a week-long training.
Dude, it looks like the biodome. Boxes. I wanted to say it looks like a little biodome.
And most boxes, I know we've gotten busy, so I don't know if every box, when you open up your order, right, and you're facing the bottom, say the bottom of the box is facing you, there's antlers on the bottom. Those antlers should also be facing you. Right?
Okay.
And then when you take off that layer, those antlers on the bottom should be facing you.
Yeah.
So I've seen it where they're literally those antlers aren't going to face them.
Yeah.
You have to tape the box a certain way.
Yeah.
You have to everything, all the way to inventory, to the way they quality check how much is on that rack. It's so wild. It is very, very wild.
It is. Yeah, I understand what the name.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. She just kicked me. No big deal.
He's not pressing charges. He's fine.
It's fine. No bruising. Don't worry.
You might bruise, baby.
But yeah, that's cool to hear. This is some of this stuff is it's really fresh to me, and there's a new brand that you guys have too, right? Yeah.
And they're called Groom, and it's Swedish, and they're these little tiny pearls. The flavors are so unique, and the ratios are so unique. None of it. This brand complements Wild and Good Tide. It really does, and they're going to be cost effective. Even the packaging. So when they said they put the packaging together, it's almost like rolling a joint. The way you have to make the package and a little tubes inside. Tubes like maybe this big, that round, and you open it and a whole bunch of little round balls come out. And it's like, I don't even know. They're real squishy. Yeah. Right? And these ones melt. Like these ones, you can tell, like, we're not leaving these in the car. Wild, we can leave them in the car, go to the grocery store, put them in my backpack, go hiking, you'll be fine. These, no, we can't do that with those. But the flavors are fantastic. It's wonderful. It's going to be the least expensive option because not everybody can afford Wild. So their intention is Good Tide is the best. It's our top shelf, then Wild, and then this company Groom. Nice. So it's just real cool. And they're delicious. Yeah. They're so good. And the packaging is awesome. Like how Wild boxes are so cool. This Groom packaging, there ain't nothing like it. Nice. Yeah. It's really cool.
When can we expect it here in New Mexico?
So we're actually accepting pre-orders now. Okay. And we're going to deliver mid-August, end of August. So each round pearl is 10 milligrams. And in about 2 months, we're going to launch Mega Pearls. And they're 2 50-milligram gummies in one package.
For the medical.
Yep, and then the plan is we're going to have chocolates as well, but it's all from Groom. And allegedly, we may also be having other products that we're going to start distributing.
The drinks?
I know in Colorado, they're distributing Journeyman, which is like a little drink, and then blunts, and that blunt line, This company called Heights. I know. Yeah. And but the thing is, it's like, okay, we'll work with you, but this is the Wild way. Yeah. You got to keep up with orders. You can't and there's some people I'm sure that could not make the cut. They get inside Wild and they're like, what the fuck? Everybody wants to work for Wild, and then when you get in, you're like, oh shit, this is gangster. This is gangster. So you have to be the Wild way. And if you're not, then you're pulled from the shelf and whatever, and not that has happened, but. Yeah. The bar is definitely set high for Wild too. And they have their own reps or whatever. But so we might even be carrying more products by the end of next year. Good. Where Wild has a whole catalog. Yeah. Yeah. From the Biodome gummies to, the Swedish, and now you got drinks and chocolate and blunts. And even the CBD line. That's a big, a lot of people, that CBD line sells very well. Yeah. And I will say probably my favorite gummy is on that CBD line. Really? And it's a peach, and it's CBD and CBC. They are, they sell everywhere. And some people, when they find out about it, if a dispensary carries those drinks, those Wild seltzer waters, they go like crazy.
It's a seltzer water. I love that. Seltzer water. Low sugar.
Yeah, so many different flavors, and they have a whole CBD lineup of gummies. Just nothing. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what's going to happen in Texas with that, but
we'll see. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole drama. Telenova down there. So yeah.
You're right about that. Yeah.
I talked to the Texas advocates quite a bit, and they give me the rundown, and I'm like, this is insane what they're dealing with. And I try to give them advice where I can, because we've been through similar fights and stuff like that, but one thing I will give them is their advocacy is on point.
Is it?
It's unified. They're all on the same page. They're not trying to fight each other for someone else's better benefit. The only issue they're running into right now is the hemp people and the medical people are fighting against them now. So that's the only kind of infighting they have, is you have these industries that don't want to really work with it. So you have some of the hemp bros, the bigger guys, and then you have the medical guys just kind of no, we want it this way so we can be the only ones. And so, you have the smaller kind of operators and the real advocates fighting that. And so it's kind of the similar thing that we experience here in New Mexico sometimes. And, we did in the medical days and all that good stuff. They're doing it. They're killing it over there. They're doing a great job. Their legislative session, I think, is next year. And so I was talking to one of them and asked what are the chances of them legalizing it, and they said probably none. They could probably hope for some kind of cite and release program to maybe go through, but it doesn't look like they're.
Wait, what's happening on the 31st, or is that just?
That's when I think the hemp ban in Texas. I think that's when the hemp ban in Texas is going in effect.
That means like nothing. They can't have nothing there, right?
Yeah, it has to be like textiles or something, and no smokables. I think it was what it is, and then other strict stuff. I have to look at like what the fine details is. I can't remember on the top of my head.
Because it's like, to me, I'm like, okay, what are you guys distracting from? Like, why is that so off and on and all of that? Like, why is it so? Yes, no, yes, no.
Yeah, but there's lawsuits that happen, and one judge says one thing, gives an injunction on another, and then this happens here, and then these rules get put up, and it's ridiculous. And in Texas, the other day we saw that some of the representatives, they really thought that cannabis was the Bayable still. They're like, oh my God, Texas, cannabis is so bad, and like just watching it, I was like, man, I felt like I lost brain cells.
Okay with your drive-through liquor stores?
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And
hell.
And you go to Walmart and you see like these Coca-Cola bottles that look like buzz balls. Yeah.
That whole child play shit. Like, there was one thing, I thought it was like a Gatorade or something, and it was like actually alcohol. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they want to talk about the cannabis industry. It's like, that's just wild to me.
It is.
Dion, one of our employees, me and him were the first drivers for Wild, and we helped launch the state. And one time we're doing something, and he's younger too. He's about 10 years younger than me. And he's like, it's always been wild to me is if drinking and driving is illegal, why do they have parking spaces outside of bars?
Exactly.
Oh my, coming from the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other day, when I was at the lake, I was with my girlfriend, and she was telling me that at the marina, they have a microbrew there. Cool, local business, whatever. But the marina, you have to drive there, like at Elephant Butte, or you have to drive a boat there to get to it. So like, what are we doing here? And like, we know it's such a nuisance. And like, I was reading the regulations on like DWIs and stuff, and like, they do have to be transparent and tell you publicly that they're going to have them, that they're going to be conducting them. But the reason why we have them in the first place is because of drunk driving. It's not because of cannabis. It's clearly solely because of drunk driving. And it's that much of an issue. And the tolerance for the amount of fuckery, I know Gina likes that one, amount of fuckery that happens with the alcohol stuff versus cannabis is night and day.
That fucking Fit Bam here y'all got here. Fit Bam.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you didn't know about Fit Bam.
Bro, I'm upset. To me, that's where the news is. That's where we're finding out what's going on. But I mean, I'm from Albuquerque, so everything that we hear about Albuquerque is true. I lived there for over 20 years, raised a family. Everything bad they say about Albuquerque, true. Everything good they say about Albuquerque, true. But honey, never have I ever seen as much DUI and crashes like in El Paso.
It's bad.
And it's every day. And it's not just like, so fucking Edgar fucking hit and run this one. It's like every day some crazy, and it's all alcohol.
Mm-hmm. All of it.
Bro,
all of it alcohol induced.
That's why I'm like, there's such a big ass agenda here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
the alcohol lobby is very strong, obviously, because when I did bring it up to the superintendent of RLD in the Santa Fe, I pretty much got the fuck off. Like he told me, well, alcohol is legal. It'd be hard to go after. I was like, you can totally make laws within the state to, further packaging if you wanted. Like, why are you going after us?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, it's federally legal. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. They still make packaging and stuff that is catered to kids all of the time. And you have Sunny D that has, like alcohol now, like hard Sunny D. You have Nestea. You have all these Jarritos. Jarritos got in the game too, and it's the same bottle. Yeah. Jarritos got in the game. It's the same exact bottle.
So I picked the wrong time to stop drinking.
I saw Gino light up.
You're like,
damn.
Just give me a hard lemonade, man. That's all good.
Yeah,
that's that thing. That hard lemonade thing that's in that little box. I'm like, bro, you don't think a kid asks their mom, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
But how many kids are inside of a dispensary asking?
They're not allowed, right? 100%. And I tell people that. I get carded almost 2 times before I leave the dispensary.
Bro, same.
Usually when you walk in, usually by the bud tender.
Yes.
And sometimes one more time. for whatever reason, some of them mess up or whatever.
Depending where you're at.
Yeah, and then
for sure. And some dispensaries, you ain't even going back there. Like they're gonna check your ID from the window, then you're gonna wait there.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go back, and then you're gonna give it to the bud tender, and then they're gonna confirm your information. But you be seeing kids inside the liquor stores. You be seeing kids in the aisle of liquors.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping them. I mean, there's no ropes or anything except on Sunday before noon.
But I mean, the hypocrisy of where we live anyways and everything that's come to light, like, it kind of fits. The hypocrisy of the United States has been real in everyone's face lately. You know what I'm saying? So this kind of lines up. Okay, so there's a bigger agenda here.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with keeping this safe and keeping that. Like, there are just still some people with antiquated thinking, and for whatever reason, they're on the alcohol side versus the cannabis side. Alcohol is a lot of money, and honestly, they tax enough for the cannabis side that all these people I feel fighting against the industry, that some of their people go around inside their dispensaries and they pound their chest because of who they are. But it's like, well, respectfully, you wouldn't even have that job if it wasn't for the cannabis industry.
100%.
This department wouldn't even be made if it wasn't for these dispensaries opening up and spending their money.
Yeah.
Or for the people coming in here making the product, these people wouldn't even have a job.
Yeah.
Like, recognize that and quit making people fucking scared and feel like shit.
Yeah, you know, and there's no reason for it. You know, like, cannabis just has an unfair stigma. Even when they try to fairly, you know, point out that, you know, cannabis has this potential risk or whatever, it's night and day when it comes to comparative to alcohol.
Bro, even cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like,
comparative to both of those, it is harmless.
Yeah.
And like, with certain users, we're finding out the CHS stuff and this and that, and you know, they're kind of finding out that it's the THC, the high THC, that's doing it almost solely, and that makes sense. But you know, at the same time, that is a minute issue compared to what alcohol does, which it can kill you. It can kill you by going cold turkey.
Around you, the brain, all of that. Yeah. And when it went medical, the day it went medical, I was working in a dispensary, and I worked there before it was medical. But I'll tell you what, 98% of those people standing in line were 60 plus. Yeah. There was no young people coming through the day it went medical. It was all older people. There was these women like jumping up and down, crying, thinking that they would never see the day. 70-year-olds, 80-years-olds coming in like, oh my gosh, so happy. Yeah. But we're not going to listen to our veterans. We're not going to listen to the people that... It's just wild to me. Yeah. Like, you ain't going to listen to a veteran that said, oh, I don't take all this medication that could possibly kill me because I started taking this. Not because they're making money off of all that fucking shit. Yeah. And it's really all about money. And I think, I don't know, we just shouldn't be surprised, especially with everything in our faces lately. That's what it is. Yeah,
and them accepting more, you know, psychedelic medicine too as well, especially on the federal government side, which is surprising. You know, it gives us more of a reason. You know, like, why should we take these pills when I take one, it causes another issue, and then I have to take another one to fix the issue that one gave me. You know,
like listening to boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, listening to the veterans, the people that are actually going through that and doing that, because. Listen to that person. Yeah. You're just over here with a clipboard and you're like, well,
science said this and this. I'm like, well, science needs to fucking listen. Yeah. But sometimes it's not science that, you know, they're not listening. It's the corporate guys.
It's the corporate. And I have a lot of veteran friends. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the pressure for them to have pills or just shipping it to the house is fucking insane. Oh, easy. Not checking in with them all crazy. They have to wait at the VA forever. And then here comes this fucking box full of pills. Yeah. You'll be all right. Here you go.
Yeah. If I want, I need 800 milligram ibuprofen all day. Wow. When I was in Iraq, Ambien was huge with the troops. They'd be like, hey, doc, I can't sleep. He would just give you Ambien, and then dudes would go and trip balls, you know, because you just stay up long enough, and then you start tripping balls, and they'll do it on purpose. It was being abused. And so that shit existed, you know, even overseas. Yeah. And, you know, we were in a combat zone and stuff. So, yeah, I know. It's...
No, I don't have the mic of God, but World War I, maybe II, they were giving him meth.
Oh, yeah. They're giving methamphetamine. Yeah.
Stay up juice.
Yeah. And like, of course, it was something different back then, and you know, all that shit. But yeah, they were giving them hardcore shit back in the day. And yeah, so it's a bigger thing than it is. But before we move on to our next topic and everything, are there any things you want to catch us up on? You got any new projects going on?
No new projects. I've literally just been kind of settling down south. I got a concussion April 1st,
Oh, no.
and I've been recovering from that. So I have not done anything new. Like, I mean, I've read some dope books, and I've learned more about taking time to take care of myself and spending more time in the sun. But as far as anything else, no, wild's it's whole ass beast in itself, and no, just that.
Dope.
Living down south, loving it.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the South. I forgot to share that too. She moved down south. I remember you telling me. I was like, well, welcome, dude. Hell yeah. It was cool to see you down here.
Yeah, I live in Santa Teresa.
Yeah. Okay. ST, Sanity. So, well, thank you so much for sharing all that and, the updates and everything and, some more information about Wild that I didn't know myself. Yeah. So, it's been cool. And, I can't wait for another update when we do it again.
Okay. Me too.
Cool. Well, we're going to move on to the last couple subjects that I got for you guys. It won't be too long today, hopefully. And then we'll move on from there. So I'm going to give you guys the final rescheduling update for what the hearing is. We have one more thing that's probably going to happen. Don't get me wrong. There's still more processes that need to happen in between. But we have pretty much a big announcement that will happen. And I'm going to tell you what happened. So the hearing ended. Everyone had said their stuff, blah, blah, blah. Now the chief administrative law judge, his name is Derek Julius. He issued an order giving everybody that participated in this, all the participating parties, so meaning pro and opposed, gives them a chance until August 17th to submit optional post-hearing briefs and proposed corrections. So what that means is if there's anything that they thought was wrong, they're going to, write it in detail, blah, 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 this and that. They don't have to, but this gives them the opportunity one more time for kind of like a rebuttal, like, well, I didn't really like this and I didn't agree with this. And, we'll see what comes from it. I really don't see, something being a hiccup for essentially, they got what they wanted. They got all the opponents or, the opponents of cannabis, and they got all the proponent, which was supposed to be the government. Yeah, and the fuckery. The fuckery. So once all that's completed, Judge Julius will prepare a recommendation. Now, here's the weird part in the kicker. The judge can give the recommendation, but the DEA administrator, Terry Cole, he can still come in and make his ruling. So if he doesn't want it to be Schedule 3, or if he wants it to be Schedule 5, or if he wants it to be descheduled, he can do that. So the judge, he's just giving a recommendation. So keep that in mind. That is a huge, distinct thing. So when we do get this ruling and it happens, you guys may be shocked, like, oh my God, please, but for the God of me, be careful with the news and where you hear this information from. And if you hear it from here, then you hear it from somewhere else, and it sounds different, that's because they're understanding it differently. And I've seen that so much, and it's so frustrating and tiring. Okay, so the judge is going to give a suggestion. Terry Cole, the DEA administrator, he will make his decision after that. Now, I don't believe there's a time limit for Terry Cole to make his decision. So that could take who knows how long. It could take a week, could take a day, could take an afternoon, could take 3 years. For all we know. We've already went from one administration to another with this whole process, and we're about halfway through this current administration. So we could be seeing this either play out till next year, or we could get a surprise sometime in the fall, which makes sense with some of the source reporting that I'm hearing and seeing, that we could get a ruling. Now, this is where it becomes my personal opinion. So my personal opinion is that they're going to keep it Schedule 1 cannabis. Again, remember, guys, medical cannabis, FDA approved, or state medical cannabis is already Schedule 3 cannabis. That's already Schedule 3. What these hearings are for, and I know I've said this again, I'm going to kick the horse till it's powder. These hearings were for the rest of cannabis to fall under that. Like I said before, they've separated cannabis by definition, 15 different times. I know I'm being exaggerative, it's 3, but a bunch of different times that they're going to try to keep it under one, which is medical, which I don't think is going to happen. I think they're going to keep rest of cannabis Schedule 1, and then we had word that Trump may sign an executive order for a decriminalization commission to happen. If that happens, it wouldn't make sense for cannabis to be in Schedule 1. Now, the source that said that, I've only seen it in one place, and it came from one of the cannabis news people. So keep that in mind when it comes time. So I wanted to get everybody in check and let them know that when this time does happen with the judges and stuff, when the judge does come down and make his suggestion, that it's just going to be a suggestion, and to be careful with the news outlets, because the news outlets might say it went scheduled whatever, but that's just the judge's suggestion. Now Terry Cole, the DA administrator, he's going to have to make his decision. So we'll see what happens. If it does go the way the government wants, it'll go Schedule 3, and then
Let the fuckery begin!
yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then the fuckery all begins, as we're already kind of seeing right now.
Fuckery of it all.
Damn it! So that's pretty much your update on the Schedule 3 stuff for the hearing. We're pretty much just waiting for the judge. He has until next month, pretty much mid next month, to make a decision, which kind of falls in line with the the Decriminalization Commission. It's kind of weird to say those two things together. I don't know why. That was supposed to be happen or come into it. So if the judge makes his recommendation Schedule 1, more than likely Terry Cole is going to go with that suggestion. Usually they do adhere to the suggestions that someone else, usually ahead of them, like a judge or another organization, makes. They usually go by that. That's what HHS did. They made the suggestion to the DEA that cannabis should be Schedule 3, and DEA went with that suggestion. So we'll see what happens. If the judge rules Schedule 1, it more than likely will stay Schedule 1. If he rules Schedule 3, it'll more than likely Schedule 3. He could also rule some other thing else, Schedule 5, Schedule 4, remove from altogether. That I don't really see happening because this whole hearing was for Schedule 3. It wasn't for a deschedule, but that's a possibility. We'll see what happens. And so, yeah, now we're just in the waiting game now in this whole thing. So that's everything I have. Do you have anything for...
I mean, honestly, I think it's all fuckery.
Yeah.
I'm just like, don't see what the fucking big deal of it is. And I am not going to get hyped up over anything.
Yeah.
Whenever it happens, it happens. And even if someone's like, oh my God, this is blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we'll just wait. We'll just wait. We'll just wait. Because I think it's going to have its blessings and burdens like everything else. So the fact that cannabis has been such a topic like this, like... Bro, this is wild.
Yeah.
Just let cannabis be cannabis.
Yeah.
And why don't you take care of like kids, education, the debt, cost of food, cost of gas, racism. We have a lot of fucking shit to take care of. And we're tripping about cannabis.
Yeah, and like cannabis hasn't been the burden on our, society as alcohol has and other substances. Yeah,
that part.
That has been a huge burden.
Killed people.
Yeah, it's killed family members of mine and friends of mine. Like I've known many people who've passed because either a DWI or they just drank themselves to death, literally.
Yep. Or to see someone try that's an alcoholic, to see them not smoke, like not drink, and then what their body goes through. Yeah, like I've tried to quit smoking trees when I wasn't, but I wasn't like, ugh. Yeah, I was more like, get away from me.
Yeah, it's a little irritable, kind of sleeping shitty, but you weren't like risk of dying.
Yeah.
Because heroin and alcohol are the only two drugs that you can die from if you are addicted to it and you quit cold turkey. Yeah. They're the only two drugs that can do that to you. And, it's unfortunate that one is very legal. And, like, they expanded.
Drive-thrus.
Yeah, they have and, like, they give cannabis drive-thrus, shit. In New Mexico, they actually got rid of alcohol drive-thrus. But
that's why I tripped out when I saw them in El Paso, because I live on the border. Even DoorDash will deliver margaritas to your house.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, don't say yes.
His liquid death. Yeah, he doesn't drink anymore.
Wait, what's liquid death?
It's like water.
Oh.
One that has like flavored water and stuff.
Flavored water, cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, named after death? Like, here's some agua fresca named Death.
It's pretty much it. Yeah, it's pretty much agua fresca named Death.
It's so funny.
So, but yeah, that's the rescheduling update I have, guys. And we'll see. I'll come back whenever I hear something happens. But also make sure you pay attention to my socials, because that's where I update a lot of good things, and things come in first. So make sure you guys pay attention to that, because come August 17, I don't know what day of the week that's going to be right off the top of my head. But if it's not on a filming day or not on a day that the show comes out, you're probably not going to hear about it till next week. So it'll be on my stories. It's on a Monday. So that is luckily for you guys, but we'll see if they do actually make it before that date as well. So that's everything I have for that. The last topic I want to talk about is really important, and actually where the title came from of this episode. Then we'll get everybody out of here. This one is talking about proper storage of cannabis in kids. And I've talked about this before. We had a whole argument about it in the legislature because they wanted to change our packaging and stuff, and it's still a big argument and a big issue in the state. The CCD has cracked down a lot on the packaging because of this concern. It's always, what about the kids, right? What about the kids? But what about the kids is always kind of...
Their parents have a full-ass fucking bar that's grabbable.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't make no cotton picking sense.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, and the parents are usually more...
Or the pills are just in the medicine cabinet?
Yeah.
Or on the dresser?
Yeah. Yeah, and like, my kid got this.
Wow.
Well, no shit. You left it somewhere where they're going to get. Like, their kids are
Where
curious.
are these missing bottles? Oh, well, they went to go have a whatever.
Yeah.
Kids all took off.
Yeah, because kids aren't just 5-year-olds. They're teenagers too. Teenagers are kids. They be teenagers. They're still, pretty dumb. I was a dumb teenager myself too.
Yeah.
We all were. But like it is what it is, and yeah, kids will get into your shit if you don't put it away or have a conversation with them at least.
That part.
Yeah, at least have a conversation,
That part.
educate
Open
them.
communication.
Yes. And what are some tips that you could probably give some parents on like talking to their kids about like cannabis and stuff?
Well, I'll say me and my ex-husband, we have 4 kids, and we've always smoked blunts forever. But once we started having kids, we would smoke in the garage, right? We homeschooled them before COVID, and they're actually teaching about it in school, right? So we decided we should have team digs meetings, and we sat them all down and we asked them their thoughts about what they're learning about marijuana, blah, blah, blah. And we just told them that we smoked. And it was crazy because they were actually all shocked, that we were like, oh, so that.
It's like, damn, we kept it from you that long?
They were they're like, no way. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But we've always been big about communication with them. And they were allowed to ask us any questions. So even when they started smoking, I don't know if they hit it, we found out during COVID, open communication, because your kid's going to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
So if we want our children to respect us and respect our boundaries and space, we have to do the same to them. So it's open communication, but also at the same token, like we locked our shit up.
Yeah.
We had all of our stuff and it was always locked up. And we also rotated it.
Yeah.
But I think the open communication with the Diggs kids was the most, because we have a 16-year-old. He asks us all questions. Well, what about this? What about this? This is what I heard about. And so he's even asking us questions. And we're never like irritated. We're just big about open communication.
Yeah.
That's it. Because once our kids found out, they quit going out to the garage. They quit seeing what we were doing outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And once we found out they smoke, like, all right, you guys are obviously going to do this if we say yes or no.
Yeah.
So if you are going to smoke, and they were like 16, 17, and one was about to be 18. And it's like, all right, all grades.
Yeah.
You have to have stellar grades. Your rooms always have to be on point. They've done all their laundry for years, and it's almost like they did all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Grades were stellar.
Yeah.
Never had to tell them to clean their rooms. All of them had jobs.
Yeah.
They bought their own first cars. All the Diggs kids worked while they were in high school, maintained their grades. One was in sports. They bought their own cars, all while using cannabis.
Dang.
But it's open communication.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you be open with them, but it's the parents that have a tough time communicating, even as adults,
Yeah.
they have a tough time speaking to their children.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you weren't trying to like be their friend. You just wanted open communication with them. And I think people don't know that difference, the distinct difference of that.
part.
And that's something I've noticed too. Like my sister, she raises my nephews differently, than a lot of people. She does communicate with them, but she does set her boundaries.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that. And me as an uncle, of course, I set my boundaries with them as well. And yeah, she sets her boundaries with them. And she's like, no. I'm your mom, this and this. I'm not your friend.
Yeah,
I'm not your friend.
Yeah. I ain't your homie.
There you go. Yeah.
Nope.
And I think more kids need to hear that.
Yeah, we are not homies. Yeah. But we were cool, and we would speak to them the way that we were expected to be spoken to.
Yeah.
And now that the Diggs kids, like 3 of them are older, it is different having adult children, for sure. But now I feel this is when you can be their friend.
Yeah.
Because you've already Now
You
you
did your
can be
part.
their friend.
Yeah.
So we all still have great contact, and sometimes they'll call, and I'm like thinking in my head, okay, do they want me to just listen? Do they want me to help them solve this problem? Or do they just want someone to vent to? And so I'll ask them, and they're like, yeah, well, actually, if you could help mom, or do, or and they've just been so open. I mean, I will say we weren't drinkers.
Yeah.
My ex has been sober for like 15 years or something like that. So we did not drink alcohol in
Yeah.
my house ever.
Yeah.
And once in a while, they'll go out and they'll drink, which to me, that's so shocking to me, to
Yeah.
be very honest. And so I'm always hitting them up like, we don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you guys. Like, you guys didn't even grow up with alcohol.
Yeah.
You didn't even see anybody drunk or anything so that one, they're not crazy with it, and they don't do it every time they go out. But that is the one that kind of surprised me, like, oh,
Exploring, huh?
you're drinking a beer?
What?
Okay. But it did change a lot of stuff with all of us. We did get a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
Our oldest now, 16, he knows exactly why I'm going to the porch. He knows.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom and Dad are going to go smoke, but because if we're going to be like, all right, Mom and Dad are going to the bar. Oh, Auntie and I are going to go have some shots. All right, well, me and your dad are going to go back to the back porch.
Yeah. Same shit.
Yeah,
same thing.
Shit. Yeah, same. But we're also respectful.
Yeah.
We're not having everything spread out in front of them and all this shit. We're not smoking with them in the car.
Yeah.
We're locking our shit up because temptation is temptation.
Yeah.
And
those are great tips too, because you not only locked it up, you changed the location of it being locked up, so that way they went and they didn't even know you smoked for the longest time. That's the funny part.
We were really actually surprised that they didn't know. They were like, especially our oldest son was like, "Oh my God, what?" We're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
We're waiting for a different response.
Yeah, totally thought they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we figured," or "We were wondering." No, they were all like, I was like, "Oh shit, y'all really didn't know?" Like,
did you feel like you did something right? It was like, I did something right.
Bro, literally, I was like, "Oh wow, that's fucked," but still, it was shocking that all of them were surprised.
Yeah,
all of them. We were like, "Wow."
Yeah.
And Kwame's the youngest. He's 16. His oldest is 23, and then 21.
Yeah.
They all have a great relationship with them.
That's good.
And with him, and he will even ask them questions.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
good.
it's about girls, stuff that's going on at the high school, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we're just asking, and even his siblings like, just don't smoke in high school, bubs. It's just not good. Just don't smoke in high school. And he's like, yes, sir. He even tells his brother and sister, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Like, you're right. And he'll even ask questions. And I'm like, ask him, and I even have conversations like, you ever tempted? Do any of your friends smoke or drink? And let's just say he said yes. My follow-up would be like, well, this is why we don't want you to do it. Yeah. I don't think marijuana is bad, Bubba, or anything like that, but your brain ain't fully developed. Yeah. You're still learning. Yeah. Your hormones and everything, you're still going through stuff. So that's why at your age, it wouldn't be a good idea. Mm-hmm. But if you're open, we're real open to them. This is why we're saying this. Not just this is what I said and you're going to listen to me. No, this is why we feel like this. This is why I'm telling you this. And he's even been just with not anything with weed, but he'll address it if I have to correct him or anything. He's like, nope, I understand. I understand why you're saying that, Mom. Nope, you're good. I understand why you're saying that. Yeah. And I'll respect it. And I feel like because we've had such open communication with them, I don't deal with the talking back. We didn't deal with any of that shit. We didn't deal with kids running away and we didn't, and I really feel like it's just because we did it different. Me and my ex were not raised like this at all. Yeah. At all. We just did it differently because I don't think you're raising kids, you're raising adults. Yeah. So treat them with respect and speak to them openly, because then they get out into the real world and they're just exploring on everything or don't know how to act. Yeah. So it's good when you take it care of inside your household. Yeah. Definitely. Take care of that household. Yeah. Yeah. Those are great tips, and thank you for that. Thank you. That was a really great explanation on it, and it sounds like you have some great boys and great girls. They're really awesome. They really, really are. And we'll keep them. What kind of container did you guys use, just for the people that are probably wondering? Back in the day, it was a black. It was a toolbox actually. This was 10 years. Yeah. I mean, the kids are all in their 20s per se. So this was when they were babies.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had little toolboxes with a little lock. And then the last one we had was like a big black with a lock on it.
Yeah.
And we would just take it around. And I don't even know if they still ever know that that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because his dad always had a tool chest.
Yeah.
So I still don't know. That'd be an interesting question to ask.
They do now.
Yeah. And but that's true, right?
And we'd keep it in the bedroom or, and stuff like that. And then when we were gone, we always locked our bedroom. Always. Not that we ever thought that they would, but then there's just no temptation.
Yeah.
So our bedroom door was always locked.
Yeah, that makes
always.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've wondered that, like these parents either like their doors wide open, do they leave it somewhere else? You could even put it in like a dime bag, the ones with the combinations.
Yep. Now, back then there was not one.
Yeah,
of those,
no. These days you can put it in a dime bag, so it's really easy. It's something as simple as that. You don't have to have a cabinet. You don't have to have like a big old safe. Something as simple with just that locks and it stays away from the kids.
And honestly, like we have a garage. All the tools are in there. Everything's in there. So even there was times where, like, say we wanted to twist something up and run out. Or literally, like, there was 2 like shelves and it had like the drawers or whatever, but my ex built it where could slide back and we'd just be like, put it back and it just looked like there was a radio on top. Like, bro, they never even fucking knew.
Yeah. Get creative. Yeah. Have some fun with it. Yeah. Have some fun getting, cause if you're a parent, of course. If you're someone like me who doesn't have kids, whatever, when my nephews come by, of course, I put things away. I don't want them to even think. But most of the time they don't even know what it is. Like if I happen to leave like a device out or something, they have no clue. And so it's not even a blink in their eye, and I'm like, all right, cool, I got time to put it away. But yeah, the reason why I brought this up is I saw an article today that came from another state, and it was one of their things. They're saying that proper storage of cannabis helps cannabis getting to kids. Yeah. Like who knew? Who knew that, proper storage, that's crazy. It has nothing to do with packaging.
Lock up your liquor cabinet.
Right, exactly.
Lock up your weed.
Those are the conversations that we've had many times with different things, but for some reason in cannabis, people don't want to have it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so wild. Like, but honestly, let's just take this back 2 or 3 years. Yeah, mind blowing. But with everything we have seen with our visual eyes in the world in the past just year and a half alone, with the stuff that's wiped under rugs, is it really like...
That's true, right?
Now it's like, oh, okay, kind of fits the bill.
Yeah. What's going on? And I kind of feel that maybe that's why the article came out, is like they see it, but they don't... The way the article was reading was more like it wasn't an emergency, but it was something like we need to have this conversation kind of situation. Like, weed's here, it's not going anywhere. Let's make sure that you guys are properly storing it. And they even mentioned that a company provided 3,000 like safety bags, for the child safety ones, and this dispensary has given out like 250 so far. Wow. And I'm like, simple stuff like that. Yeah, it's simple. Like I've seen those in Colorado. Those little child-resistant zip that they put everything in there. You have your whole purchase, and I think that's what they're talking about. And so
Medman does that too.
Do they? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And the fact that different states are talking about this now, I'm like, great. This is a conversation we need to have. And like they're even saying, like the packaging isn't really the issue; it's how you store it. You got to keep it away from your kids.
Bro.
Like they're gonna learn to read.
An AK-47 on a table with some Sesame Street on and some Cheerios.
Yeah. Like, exactly.
Bro, no, you're gonna put that up.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you put up your weed, or why wouldn't you? And don't fucking smoke in the living room.
Yeah. Exactly. I know people that have different fridges in the garage, sometimes locked, that are for the liquor. That's for liquor or beer only. And like that, by all means, if you want to go that far, like I have a freezer in my garage, but some people have a whole fridge where they put their liquor and stuff, and it has a lock. And I'm like, well, that's fair. If you don't want your kids, especially if you have teen kids, you don't want them teens getting in there.
And they've done it for centuries.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember doing it when I was a kid. I was like,
I did it,
bro.
Yeah.
But it was not such a big deal as like, oh my God, you're smoking weed?
Yeah.
Well, I just drank your whole bottle of tequila yesterday. You're not mad about that.
Yeah.
But now you're mad because I'm high.
Yeah. It's like, this makes no sense. And
yeah, the oxymoron.
Yeah, of it all. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have for, that conversation. Thank you so much for the tips and everything, of course. And I'm so glad to have you on again. We'll have you on next season for another update and everything.
Yeah. I'm down like 4 flats on a Cadillac.
At least you're riding in comfort.
Hey.
All right, guys, I'll be back next week for another episode of Ask Chad Grassy Logic. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do, say in the know. All right, guys, shoots.
Grassy.